In the dusty little village of Amiri, where red sand coated every path and hunger lingered in many homes, lived a young woman named Glory. At just 22, her eyes held the weight of 100 lifetimes. Ever since her mother passed away 5 years ago, peace had been a stranger to her. Her father, Mr. Thomas, once a kind-hearted farmer, had turned into a bitter drunk. As if that wasn't enough, he married a cruel woman named Mrs. Grace, who despised Glory with every fiber of her being. They made her cook, fetch firewood, clean the compound, and work the farm from dawn until dusk, only to go to bed hungry. The villagers pitied her, but no one dared to speak up. No one wanted to face Mr. Thomas's wrath. Then came Harrison. A young man from the city, Harrison didn't have much. His clothes were worn, and his shoes had holes. But his eyes were sharp, observant. He had been working on Mr. Thomas's farm for 3 months, clearing bush, planting cassava, carrying heavy loads from morning till night. Yet, despite all his labor, Mr. Thomas never paid him. Next week. Tomorrow. When I sell something, the old man would say. But the money never came. One hot afternoon, Harrison, tired and frustrated, came to the house. "Sir, please, I really need my money today," he said. Mr. Thomas scratched his head, looked around, and his eyes landed on Glory, who was sweeping the compound, her face weary. Then he laughed, cruelly. "You want money?" he asked. "Yes, sir. I worked for 3 months. Please, pay me." "Well, take that girl instead," Mr. Thomas said, pointing at Glory. Harrison blinked, confused. "Take who?" "My daughter. She's good for nothing. Let her go with you to the city. That's your payment." Glory froze. The broom dropped from her hands. "Daddy, please, no." "Shut up," he barked. "You should be happy someone wants you." Mrs. Grace crossed her arms and smiled. "Good. Let her go. One less mouth to feed." Glory dropped to her knees, begging, crying, but no one cared. No one listened. Harrison looked at her, broken, yet strikingly beautiful. Not just on the outside, there was something in her spirit. Something fragile and glowing. "She's beautiful," he whispered under his breath. "What did you say?" Mr. Thomas asked. "I'll take her," Harrison replied. Just like that, Glory's life changed. With tears in her eyes, she packed her few clothes into a black plastic bag. No hugs. No blessings. No prayers. Only her little half-brother Sam stood behind the house, crying silently as he waved goodbye. Glory followed Harrison to the city. The journey was long and dusty. The bus passed through towns and forests. Glory sat by the window, staring outside. She wasn't sure how to feel. She had just left the only home she knew, no matter how painful it was. Deep in her heart, she whispered a prayer. "Lord, please, don't let this man be like my father. Please, give me peace. I'm tired." Harrison didn't speak much. He stared straight ahead, deep in thought. "I just got a job a few days ago as a security guard," he continued. "The owner of the house is kind. She lets me stay here for free." "Really?" Glory asked, surprised. "Yes. She lives in the main house with her son. She said I can stay here as long as I keep the compound safe." Glory looked at the small house again. It wasn't big, but to her, it felt like a palace. A roof that didn't leak. A door that locked. A real bed with clean sheets. Far better than the mat she used to sleep on in the kitchen back home. She smiled faintly, for the first time in a long time. "If this is God's plan for me, then so be it," she whispered. Harrison turned to her. "Are you okay with this?" She nodded. "Yes. I have peace. And I haven't felt that in a long time." 2 days after arriving, Glory woke to the scent of something delicious wafting in from the kitchen. The morning sun spilled through the window. She sat up and stretched. For the first time in years, she had slept peacefully. No shouting, no beatings, no fear. Just calm. In the kitchen, Harrison was cooking. "Good morning," she said softly. He turned and smiled. "Morning, Glory. I made breakfast. Did you sleep well?" "Yes, like a baby," she replied. They both laughed. After breakfast, Harrison said, "Get dressed. I want you to meet someone." "Who?" she asked curiously. "You'll see. Just wear something simple." She slipped into a soft gown Harrison had bought for her, brushed her hair, and followed him to the main house. The tall black door opened, and an elegant woman in her late 50s stood at the entrance. Her eyes were kind, and her presence calm. "Good morning, Ma," Harrison greeted. "Morning, Harrison. And who is this beautiful young lady?" "This is Glory, my wife," Harrison replied. Mrs. Walker smiled warmly. "So this is the woman you told me about. She's lovely. Come inside, my dear." Glory stepped in cautiously, wide-eyed. The living room sparkled. Everything looked expensive and elegant. Mrs. Walker gently held her hand. "You're welcome, Glory. I like you already. You have a sweet spirit. I'm glad Harrison brought you here." "Thank you, Ma," Glory said shyly. "You can call me Mrs. Walker. If you need anything, let me know." After a short chat, they returned to the boys' quarters. That evening, as Glory cleaned the kitchen, she sat on the bed, lost in thought. Harrison was fixing a loose wardrobe handle. "Harrison," she called gently. "Yes? Can I tell you something?" "Of course." She sighed, playing with her fingers. "When my father gave me to you, I felt thrown away. Worthless. Like I didn't matter to anyone." Harrison looked up slowly. "I thought you'd be worse than him. That you'd beat me or treat me like a slave." Her voice trembled. "But you didn't. You gave me peace. You respected me. You even cooked for me." She wiped a tear. "I just want to say thank you. I don't regret coming here. I think maybe this was part of God's plan." Harrison sat beside her. Took her hand gently. "I'd never hurt you, Glory. That's not the kind of man I am." He paused, then smiled softly. "You know, I liked you from the first day I saw you on the farm. I wanted to speak to your father, but I was scared. I had nothing. I thought he'd reject me." He chuckled lightly. "But that day when he offered you to me instead of money, I was shocked. But deep inside, I was happy. It felt like God opened a door." Glory looked down. "I don't love you yet, Harrison." "I know," he said quickly. "And I'm not rushing you." She nodded. "But I like how you treat me. Like I matter. Like I'm not a mistake." He smiled. "That's because you are a queen, Glory. You've just been hidden in the wrong palace." Glory laughed quietly, wiping another tear. For the first time, she felt seen. Love hadn't fully bloomed, but something beautiful had already begun to grow: respect, peace, trust. Tears welled up in Glory's eyes, but she didn't let them stop her. "I didn't marry Harrison for money," she said firmly. "I married him because when the world turned its back on me, he stood by me. When my own father discarded me like a sack of yam, Harrison gave me dignity." Mrs. Walker opened her mouth to respond, but Glory raised her hand respectfully. "I'm sorry, Ma, but I'm done here. If your son doesn't stop this nonsense, we'll leave this house. I won't stay where I'm disrespected." With that, she turned around, wiping her tears as she walked back to the boys' quarters, her chest heaving, her heart burning. She couldn't believe what had just happened. How could someone she respected try to treat her love like a transaction? Like she could be bought like a loaf of bread? But one thing was clear, she loved Harrison. Truly. As she stepped into their room, something stopped her in her tracks. On the small table in the corner were bundles of money. Piles of it. Her eyes widened. Harrison. What's all this? Where did you get this money? Harrison stood from the bed calmly, looking at her with gentle eyes. My love, he said softly, come sit. Glory sat, her eyes never leaving the money. Talk to me, Harrison. What is this? He smiled. I've been saving it little by little. I want to start my own business, that's been my dream since I came to this city. But today, when I saw how you defended me, how you chose love over riches, I knew you deserved better. Glory was confused. What does this have to do with me? I want you to use the money, he said, pointing to the cash. Use it to go to university. I know it's your dream. She shook her head slowly. No. I'm serious, Glory. And I'm serious too, she said, standing. This is your dream. You worked hard to save this. You want to start a business. I love you too much to let you give up your dream for me. Tears brimmed in her eyes again. Let's be smart with this. Let's rent a small place outside this compound. Let's start your business. I'll help, cook, manage it with you. And when it grows, then I'll go to school. One step at a time. Harrison stared at her like he was seeing her for the first time. You want us to leave this house? Yes, she said with conviction. I'm tired of being treated like nothing. We deserve peace. Even if it's small, let it be ours. Harrison walked to her, took her hand, and shook his head in awe. You're not just beautiful, Glory. You're wise. You're special. You're everything I prayed for. She smiled through her tears. And you're the only man I want. He pulled her into a hug, both of their eyes watery. Thank you for standing by me, he whispered. I'll always stand by you, she replied. Then came the kiss, a kiss full of love, not for money, not for appearances, but for truth, for unity. For two people who had little, but had each other. That night, they lay in each other's arms. There wasn't much talk, just silence, peace, and soft laughter. As the moonlight poured into the room, Glory whispered. Our better days are coming. And Harrison answered. Yes, my queen. Step by step, we'll get there. Together. The next day. Harrison wasn't home. Glory had cleaned the room early, but her heart remained heavy from yesterday's events. As she sat down to rest, there was a knock. She opened the door, Mrs. Walker and Daniel were standing there. Glory stood still. Good morning, my daughter, Mrs. Walker said gently. Please, we came to apologize, Daniel added. Glory quietly stepped aside and let them in. Mrs. Walker sat, looked at her kindly, and spoke. We're sorry, for everything. For what Daniel said, and for what I said. We were wrong. Daniel bowed his head. I was proud, and foolish. But now I see, Harrison is lucky. You're a real wife. Mrs. Walker nodded. You're rare, Glory. Women like you are hard to find. Glory's expression softened. We called you our wife yesterday, Mrs. Walker added with a small smile. And we meant it. You are our wife. Glory gave a faint smile. Thank you, Ma. I'm not angry anymore. I forgive you. Mrs. Walker's smile grew, but then she said something strange. You are my son's wife. Glory frowned slightly. Your son. Mrs. Walker smiled. You'll understand soon, my dear. After hugging her warmly, they left. Glory stood by the door, confused. That evening. Harrison returned, looking tired but cheerful. Where have you been all day? Glory asked. My love, there's something I need to tell you. Glory folded her arms. What now? He took her hands and looked into her eyes. I'm sorry. For what? He took a deep breath. For lying to you. Glory's face shifted. Lying about what? He sat down. Daniel, he's not just my boss's son. He's my younger brother. And Mrs. Walker, she's not my boss. She's my mother. Glory gasped. What? Harrison, all this time? He nodded. I never meant to deceive you forever. I just wanted to know if someone could love me for me, not for wealth. I've had my heart broken so many times. I was tired of being used. Glory sat in silence, then spoke softly. You went too far, Harrison. I know. And you have every right to be angry. Please forgive me. There was silence, then Glory smirked. Fine. I forgive you. He smiled in relief. Really? Yes. But you owe me. He laughed. What do I owe you? A car. And a mansion. For lying to me. Harrison laughed heartily. Done, my queen. They both laughed, and she leaped into his arms. I love you so much, Harrison. And I love you even more, Dr. Glory-to-be. They kissed, deeply, joyfully. No more secrets. No more games. When the news broke, the whole neighborhood buzzed. Harrison, the poor security man, was actually a billionaire. When Glory's father heard, he nearly choked on his palm wine. He called her instantly. My daughter, please forgive me. I didn't know God had blessed you this much. Let your stepsister come stay with you, things are hard here. Glory took a deep breath. With all due respect, sir, never. I forgive you, but I want peace. I suffered too much under your roof. If it's something important, you can call. But please, don't call me for nonsense. And take good care of your wicked wife. She ended the call, then looked up and whispered. Thank you, Jesus, for bringing Harrison into my life. Years later, Glory walked across the graduation stage wearing her white coat, now a certified medical doctor. Harrison cheered the loudest. That's my wife. Come here, you beautiful big woman. He hugged her tight. I'm so proud of you. Thank you for believing in me, she whispered. And thank you for being everything, he replied. Some months later, Harrison took her on a quiet drive. They pulled up to a massive white mansion with golden gates. Glory looked around, confused. Why are we here? Harrison smiled and held out a bunch of keys. This is your mansion, my queen. Glory screamed. Harrison. Stop joking. I promised you a car and a mansion. And here they are. She hugged him, crying and laughing. I also have good news, she whispered. I went for a test last week. I'm 3 months pregnant. Harrison froze. Then he shouted with joy. Glory. Are you serious? She laughed. We're going to have a baby. He lifted her up, spinning her joyfully. God, thank you. I will spoil you and this baby forever. He knelt and kissed her belly. My baby. Daddy already loves you. Glory, eyes full of tears, smiled and whispered. From being rejected to becoming royalty. Truly, my name is Glory. Dear viewers, what lessons did you learn from this dramatic and inspiring story? Let us know.